Today's Nations Bank starting lineups. Houston with Tim Moore, Kirk Ford, outstanding forwards. Anthony Knox for the injured Adrian Taylor at center. Taylor out for the year with a shoulder problem. In the backcourt of Lonzel Gowdy and Damon Jones. Doug Brandt, John Perkins, Brian Skinner up front for Harry Miller's Bears. In the backcourt of Damon Mannon and Rodney Smith. And Skinner to control the tap, and the Bears go to work behind Mannon. 6'1" junior college transfer out of Portsmouth, Ohio. This is Smith, who came over after a redshirt football season as a defensive back for Chuck Reedy's Bears. And underneath on the turnaround, Brian Skinner.
There's that inside attack, and Houston in a man-to-man defense, not in that matchup zone. They may have caught Baylor a little bit by surprise with that.
Skinner, as you pointed out, the best shooting percentage in the league. 60% hits his first. Here's Tim Moore. And intended underneath for Knox. The Bears come up with the turnover. Mannon on a drive. Can't finish. Gets his own board with an assist from Brandt. And he'll take Lonzel Gowdy back outside. Now Jones picking up Mannon.
When they go to their half-court game like this, they like to pound it down inside to one of those two 6'10" players, and there it is.
Skinner again, and he is 2 for 2. Jump hook over Anthony Knox.
And that is his signature move. He has just applied it to this ball game. It's not the turnaround as much as it is that jump hook, Dave.
Houston at 9-7. Early in the season signaled their potential by almost upsetting Arizona. Tim Moore inside, a nice feed, and then they finally showed what they are capable of on January 6th by defeating then number 3 Memphis 69-67 in Hoffheinz Pavilion. The highest ranked opponent to lose to a Southwest Conference team in quite a while, and the highest ranked Houston victim since Louisville in the finals in Albuquerque back in '83, the famous semifinal game of the Phi Slamma Jamma era. Foul on John Perkins for the Bears.
If Houston continues to do what they did with the last possession, it'll create problems for Baylor. They clear Knox. They bring him up high. As you look at Alvin Brooks, head coach of the Houston Cougars, they bring Knox up high, and then they go over the top of the defense down low to Tim Moore. Very effective play. It's high-low post attack. What it does is eliminate the help side defense. Head coach Harry Miller of the Baylor Bears.
Second year since taking over the Bear program. Great success at Temple High School. And before that, Seguin and Edna.
There it is again. See, they bring them up high. They eliminate the help side defense and try to go down low to Moore.
Anthony Knox about to get it off over Skinner. And a foul after the Doug Brandt rebound. On the Cougars, Kirk Ford, their first.
Tim Moore is limping just a little bit, Dave. I don't know what the problem is, but there's a bit of agony on his facial expression there, and he limped going back down the floor. They need him healthy.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he tweaked something. Does not look comfortable as he matches up with Brandt. Tries to come over the top for the steal, and instead he gets the foul.
He keeps grabbing at his left elbow. Maybe he hit that crazy bone. You don't have one of those. I've never heard anybody say you were crazy.
Well, you haven't been around. You haven't been around me for a while. Here's Perkins. And Mannon looking left side for Smith. Backdoor cut. Perkins to Brandt. In some traffic. Got it.
Nice execution. Good distribution of the ball.
Forward to the deck and keeps it alive for Gowdy. Hands it off underneath. Counted for Knox, and he'll go for a 3-point play. Anthony Knox with a quick release, and John Perkins picking up his second straight foul for the Bears. First sub for the Cougars, Galen Robinson.
And you see they get down inside the defense. Perkins came over to help out defensively against Knox, but he was late getting there. Skinner was actually beaten on the play. The importance of help side defense, you just cannot stress it enough. Can't say enough about it.
Well, Knox not able to hit the free throw. And as we said, Robinson has checked in for Moore, who has a towel on that left elbow now. Heads to the end of the bench. A little too much on the jump shot from up high by Brandt. Long pass. Robinson spins and connects. Sophomore from Aldine MacArthur High School, who missed the first 12 games this year with academic deficiencies to overcome. Anthony Knox goes up with Brandt, and it's his first and the third Houston team foul.
Pretty active Doug Brandt. He is a guy that does give you a good effort all the time. He really hustles and scraps out there, but when you're active, you get to the free throw line. Now keep in mind, we talked about this. Baylor second in the Southwest Conference in free throw attempts, but 7th in free throw percentage. So you really want to get to the line, but when getting there, you must capitalize.
And it's cost him, in particular, may have cost him the chance to upset Texas Tech. There's Moore getting the elbow worked on. And depending, Bob, on how long he's out, Baylor had better take every advantage of whatever time he spends on the bench.
I agree completely. He did that very early on, down low, took a shot on that left elbow, and you can tell that it was bothering him. Robinson
to Knox. And as he puts it on the floor, he gives it up to Menon. Pull up, three-pointer, Damon Menon.
And he's claiming he got fouled. He wants a free throw on top of it. Where's my 4-point play attempt, is what he's saying.
Baylor by 4 on Mannon's 25th three-pointer of the year. Excellent percentage from out there. Knox short on the turn. Skinner close to a couple of blocks, but Knox has a quick enough release to get him off. Missed on the three. Mannon rebounded by Smith, and he's fouled as he hits, and he'll go for the three.
Dave, things are going well for Baylor, certainly, but I don't think Skinner's getting enough touches. He's a guy that you want to have a lot of touches. The perimeter shot is taken. You see good offensive rebounding, and that's what you have to have. You get it up off the glass and handle that very, very well. Smith, a strong player.
Well, Moore didn't sit but a minute or so. He is quickly back in the game. Jones commits the foul on Smith out of University High School here in Waco. Brandt ends up with the rebound and not the follow. Bears stay after it, can't come up with it. Finally chased down by Kirk Ford.
They missed the free throw that time and a couple of second chance opportunities on offensive rebounds.
Moore missing and then hitting. This with the left hand, with both hands to guide in the foul. Tim Moore off a 7 of 8 shooting performance, 21 points, 10 boards. Very efficiently done against Texas A&M in their overtime win.
Baylor operating off of that double low stack is going to force Houston to that matchup zone. No question. I mean, they cannot, Houston cannot continue to give up those high percentage shots.
Gowdy had a good look at a three. Kenyatta Clyde, a freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada, with the rebound. Brandt. And a rebound foul as Smith goes up with Damon Jones. It'll be Smith over the back.
Once again, you see Baylor with a quick shot coming down the floor, and it might be to your advantage to wait for a guy by the name of Skinner.
14:58 in the first half at the Farrell Center, and a good start for the Bears.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Cut! Lunch! Mr. Quinn, any advice for hungry young actors?
You know, true greatness comes from within. I mean, you can't see it, but you can smell it and taste it. You gotta have it inside, deep down, hidden.
You're so passionate about acting.
Who's talking about acting? I'm talking about pizza.
The new triple-decker pizza from Pizza Hut. Hidden inside two thin crusts is a 6-cheese blend for a huge cheese taste.
Acting's easy for me, too. Really? Well, then act like you're getting us more pizza.
$20,000 for a new car? Ouch. Hey, if your car runs good, looks bad, paint it. That's right, paint it and save at Maaco. Why? The Maaco Supreme Plus sale is on. Supreme Plus at half price. Now only $225. Get our prep package with a full coat of primer sealer, our famous Supreme paint service. Come on in now and get our integrated UV sunscreen for extra protection. All half price. For a limited time only, $225. Painting your car with Maaco Supreme Plus at half price? That's America's smart choice.
Baylor up by 6 right now, but you want to be sure if you're the Baylor Bears that you continue to get touches for Brian Skinner down low. Getting the ball, he has good hands, catches it well, finishes even better. Don't allow your leading scorer and the best field goal percentage shooter in the Southwest Conference to fall asleep on you. He needs touches.
He is 3 of 4 to start the game. Brand and Mannon also have had 4 shots. They've only hit 1 apiece. 6 of 13, 46% by the Bears, and 4 of 8 by the Cougars from the field so far. 14-8 Baylor, just over 5 minutes into the game.
Baylor stays man-to-man. There's that high-low attack again. They bring one of those post people up.
Baseline drive by Gowdy, outside to Moore. Skinner takes the rebound away from Brandt. 2 of the top 7 rebounders in the Southwest Conference. Here's Clyde, side of the glass, through Brandt to Skinner. He has 8 already. Average is 15.6 per game. He's also the 4th best rebounder in the conference, so he's all over the league rankings. A lot of different areas he shows his skills.
Dave, you and I have been doing Southwest Conference basketball for, I think, 9 or 10 years right now, and that's one of the more promising sophomores we've seen in that period of time. We've seen some good ones, but Skinner is right there with him.
3-pointer, Gowdy. Moore with the rebound. This is Willie Bird is on for the first time. Junior from Houston. Reagan trailing. Cougars turn it over. Well, especially, Bob, in a league that has not had in recent history a whole lot of good 6'10 and above players. That's where he really stands literally above the crowd.
And we've seen a lot of the 6'6 and 6'7, but that 6'10 is very encouraging for Baylor. You can't talk about the fact that it's encouraging for the league in the future based on the fact that they're going to be playing in a different league, but it's just really an outstanding Texas high school player doing well at 6'10 and growing, as we talked about.
Turns away from Galen Robinson and drops in another one.
That's why he has to have touches. I'm not saying he has to shoot the ball, but he'll draw the defense. And then you can get the perimeter shot with the inside-outside attack. Rather than to do that, you want to put it in and come back, and Miller's a very good shooter, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. They've got some people, Baylor do, that can shoot the perimeter shot, but it should be a result of your inside game.
Well, after the 3-pointer from Roderick Miller, a 20-second Cougar timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn to the subway page.
I think they've gone to a full, have they not?
21-8 lead for the Baylor Bears. 13 minutes and 18 seconds in the first half.
You'd never seen anything like it, but you soon learned its name, a name that dominated the 80s. Now Ford Taurus lays claim to a new era with another revolutionary design, with outstanding performance, a roomier interior, and a penchant for quality that have led to a familiar result. For the 4th straight year, Ford Taurus is the best-selling car in America. The new Ford Taurus, picking up right where it left off.
Making the dream come true.
There are a lot of chicken sandwiches out there.
Mystery meat.
Kind of rubbery.
Not sure if it was all chicken.
But there's one that's very different.
The lean, mean grilled chicken sandwich.
It's the Whataburger of chicken sandwiches.
The grilled chicken sandwich is great.
It's a better cut of meat. 100% breast meat marinated and grilled to golden perfection and prepared any way you want it.
Juicy and plump.
The lean and mean grilled chicken sandwich. Great taste, less waste. Only at Whataburger. And I'm really pretty hungry.
What you waiting for?
So, looking for a couch, huh? You look like a man who needs comfort. Nice, huh? Massages. Now, I have this exact model in my home. The 286. Built-in TV remote, average holder. The works. You'll never want to get up again.
Play Couch Potato, the newest scratch game from the lottery.
Now put him in the toe hold. Don't give him a noogie.
He's down. No, not the claw.
Brian Skinner once again operating inside. As I mentioned, very good hands, catches the ball well, and has quite an array of offensive moves off of the block. This one's the turnaround jumper over the right shoulder that time. Over the left shoulder, he likes to go with a little jump hook. But an outstanding sophomore. 6'10", must run around 220, 230. List him at 240. I don't think he weighs 240.
Maybe a little generous.
Yeah, I think so.
He is 5 of 6. The rest of his team 4 of 11. The Cougars as a team are 4 of 11 from the field, and they have surrendered 9 unanswered Baylor points. That one went down to Moore and comes off to Brandt, and Miller may have gotten a blow to the head. So an official timeout as they check on Roderick Miller. Make sure he has all his faculty.
Roderick Miller, son of head coach Harry Miller. Roderick Miller also played for his dad in high school at Temple High School along with Brian Skinner. I wonder if there was any illegal recruiting involved with Miller at all, huh?
Involving maybe the use of the car. Actually, there is no way to make that illegal.
That is correct.
You're talking about Dad.
Harry Miller wouldn't do that anyway, and I don't believe Roderick Miller would.
Clyde underneath. Knox goes up, gets some ball as Madden gets the offensive board, but Anthony Knox also comes away with his second personal foul, 15 foul on the Cougars.
Houston starting to look just a little bit frustrated right now. Caught 2 of their players looking up at the scoreboard wondering what's going on here. Baylor has been more active, just plain and simply more active. The full 94 feet as well as in the half-court game.
Madden just a 56% free throw shooter. We talked about how Baylor's had a chance or two to improve their record had they shot better from the line. They trailed, for instance, Texas Tech by only 2 with 23 seconds to go. Nice putback by Brandt. Baylor continues to get a lot of success on the offensive glass. Turnover by Bird. Long pass. Skinner runs the floor and lays it in.
There's the 6'10" player out front, catching the ball and finishing. A big part of the game. Pass, catch, finish.
So make it now 14 unanswered Baylor points. Bird for a 3 to end the bleeding and finally hits. Just his 10th 3 of the year comes at an excellent time because Houston had nothing doing on offense.
The three-pointer, the shot that revolutionized collegiate basketball. It really changed the game.
Heavy traffic. Miller trying to give it underneath to Clyde. Houston will come away with its 6th team foul already.
Read an interesting article yesterday, Dave, where field goal percentage in college basketball has declined for 7 consecutive seasons. That's absolutely amazing. Coaches are saying it's because it's all style and no substance anymore. Players either want to shoot the 3 or dunk the basketball, and it's affected shooting percentages.
So the 3 has revolutionized the game for the better, you think?
I think so, from the fan standpoint. The game should exist for the players and the fans. When it doesn't, something's wrong. From the fan standpoint, the three-point shot, I think, has been good.
Miller. Madden taking Bird to the baseline, then his feet fly out from under him. Damon Jones to Kirk Ford, who has returned along with Robinson, and Kirk Ford averaging 15 per game. Their 3rd leading scorer has his first points in his 26-13.
And now they've gone to the matchup zone. I was surprised Houston did not start in this with a talented player down low like Skinner. But now it's a matchup zone. They'll check people out of their zone to the man in the next zone. And they operate this pretty well. You see, Baylor will become more hesitant.
But they get an open look inside.
Oh!
And Clyde scores, traveling the Cougars' 5th turnover.
Miller trying to draw the charge, jumped in front and forced the ball handler to travel over the top of the zone. One of the things you can do against a zone is you go over the top of it, but the key is to operate against the zone by working behind it so that the defense cannot see you.
Inbounds pass to Clyde, knocked away from behind by Bird. Bears 4-5 here at home, only 2 wins away from the Farrell Center. And one of their best starts of the year against a Houston team that has, Bob, again, fallen behind by double figures.
I guess if you're Houston, maybe that's a good sign. I'm of the belief that sooner or later that catches up to you. That's not a good habit.
Well, it's apparently their comfort zone. They really start to kick it in when things look worse. Shot clock under 10 for the first time. Brandt, a nice look inside from Clyde. It won't go. Brandt staying after it. Back up. Clyde with a tip. None of them go.
See, that zone is changing the complexion of the game a little bit in that Baylor's not quite as comfortable.
Another 3 by Bird. Willie Bird bringing the Cougars back within 12. It was 26-8 when he dropped in his first tray. And the crowd significantly quieter ever since. Miller tries to answer. It will be chased down in the corner by Skinner. Brandt for a 3. He'll try one occasionally. Backcourt foul, not one that Kenyatta Clyde really needed to pick up. Very little chance of coming away with that ball. His first and the team's fourth. Number 24. Clyde, the Nevada Player of the Year. Last year.
And you look at his high school numbers. I mean, they are amazing. 27-plus points a ball game.
Here's Gabe Ramirez. Freshman from Converse Judson.
What's it like to grow up in Las Vegas, Nevada, play basketball there, and go to school in Waco, Texas? Huh? That's a little different.
A life of contrast. Yeah. Are there 2 more different cities in the country? You would know. You've been everywhere. You've seen everything.
What do you mean I would know? I know one thing. There's more lights in one block in Las Vegas than there is in Waco.
Foul is on Miller. His first, now 5 on the team.
You talk about quality of life, though. Waco might be the place to be.
Well, when Clyde visited Baylor, he immediately canceled some scheduled visits he had to Oregon and Wyoming, and he signed on the very first day he could sign an NCAA letter of intent. Traveling, and the Cougars give it right back. Tim Moore has, whether it's the elbow problem or dealing with Brian Skinner, whatever it is, has yet to really make an impact in this game.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Skinner's presence down low.
Almost stolen by Robinson. Skinner at last with a miss.
That zone puts better pressure on Skinner. They drop down on him.
Almost Bird's third 3-pointer. Robinson to the deck, couldn't come away with it. And it's Mannon. A little bit of a wild attempt that time with the left hand, hoping he had drawn some contact off the back of Jones, but he chases it down. John Stockton lines in his first points of the day. 22nd timeout called here by Miller for the Bears. Their lead at one time up to 18 points has been chopped to 10 at 28-18.
Houston in transition right here. It's Jones coming right at you. Now he gets down low. Something unusual about this shot. He gets in pretty deep and gets a good look. He's taken 158 shots from the field coming into this game. 99 of the 158 are threes. So he can make them a little closer too. 99 out of 158.
You know, I think I saw the same story that you did, revisiting the impact of the three-point shot on the college game. And now, around some circles, you see a debate about the shot clock. Some coaches would like to see it back to 45. They think that would help shooting percentages. Others, I think Billy Cobb's heads this group says, let's make it even less. Let's get it closer to the NBA shot clock.
Well, I can understand why Billy would want to do that, because he likes to get up and down the floor and shoot the ball. He's a good recruiter. The better recruiters want a shot clock that's even shorter because they have more talented players.
Cougars extending up to midcourt defensively now. Even more pressure.
I think 35 is a good place for the college game. I think that's where it belongs.
10-2 Houston run.
You notice how much more time Baylor is taking to find their shots now against the matchup zone as compared with the man-to-man earlier.
Well, almost too much time here. Mannon doesn't see the shot clock. Did get it off in time, but he missed the basket entirely. The air ball resets the shot clock for the Cougars and turns it over for the Bears. Not what a coach wants to see right after timeout.
And the matchup zone has made a difference. Since they have gone to that, it has caused Baylor to become a lot more deliberate with their offensive attack. And we get Houston with a new offensive alignment. They go 1-2-2. They're looking for the shot, that three-point shot for Jones off that double pick.
Montel Gowdy returning for the Cougars. Robinson from up top. Galen Robinson, as we said, missed the first 12 games. His first game back, he was obviously ready to go. He had the best game of his career. 20 points. In one of those come from behind victories. 76-74 over the Rice Owls.
And after the made field goal, Houston goes 2-2-1 full court zone press. So Alvin Brooks is running a lot of different things at Baylor. Man-to-man, matchup zone, full court zone press.
Shot clock again, winding way down. They can't find Skinner. They had him sandwiched between Robinson and Moore. They turn it over. Deflected out of bounds. 7:03 to go in the first half. The Cougars coming back within 8.
Okay, board. Who thinks Dion should play wide receiver?
Bates back. He's got Dion wide open. One and catch.
I hope Coach Schwitzer's checking this out.
Football according to Dion. Primetime NFL. Sports.
Ford Credit and Ford Division announced the Great Percent Event, reducing interest rates to just 4.8% APR for 48 months. Or choose $600 cash back on a purchase or a red carpet lease. It's your choice on 10 of America's most popular 96 Ford cars and trucks, including Taurus, Contour, Windstar, Escort, Ranger, and more. The Great Percent Event at your Ford dealer now. Hurry, offer ends soon.
In communities throughout our nation, athletes are working to turn their many years of dedication into a few precious moments of triumph. Which is why Nations Bank, as the first centennial partner of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, is joining with the U.S. Olympic team to give our hometown hopefuls a chance to be there as the torch comes to Atlanta. And an opportunity for their efforts to light up the world.
Continental Airlines, now among the best in the business at handling your baggage.
This telecast, a copyrighted presentation of the Southwest Conference, the University of Houston, Baylor University, and Raycom Incorporated, and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the video or audio portions of this program without prior written consent is forbidden. This game took on a completely different look with the defensive change by the Cougars. It has helped them offensively as well. Capers. Comeback continues from 18 down. They have now cut it to 6 at 28-22.
In a very short period of time. I mean, the matchup zone, and you see him right now in full court pressure. That time an even different look. That time it was a 2-1-2, and if you can go to Skinner in the middle, that's what's going to happen. That adjustment was made during that timeout. Harry Miller made that adjustment.
14 for Skinner. Nice steal, John Perkins, and knocked away from behind him by Kenya Capers.
How do you attack defensive pressure? Get it to the middle. If that guy can handle the ball at all, he becomes a real threat. And if he's a good passer, that's a double threat. And if you can score, you've got the triple threat. And Skinner can do that.
Grant cutting down the paint, and again has to follow his own miss. He has 7, and the Bears regain a double-figure advantage. Cougar run was at 14-2 before Skinner got things turned back the other way. That flying slam, and we hit the 6-minute mark in the first half. Traveling on Galen Robinson, the Cougars' 8th turnover.
That high-low attack again. They clear out the help side defense, bring him high. You front the low post man. They throw over the top, but that time a travel took place.
Houston going smaller. They get Damon Jones back in to replace the 6'7" Kirk Ford.
Now you got a 2-2-1. Full court pressure. That time they're real conscious of Skinner in the middle.
3 guards on the floor for Houston. Skinner and Smith with a rebound knocked away and touched last by Gowdy. Ashley Baumgartner, true freshman, West Palm Beach, Florida. On for the first time to replace Robinson.
First team All-Stater in Florida.
Needed guys like him to come join this program. They were the smallest team in the conference last year. Baumgartner at 6'8", 230. What a way to remedy that problem. Smith misses the 3. Jones pushes it up. Capers, junior from Irvington, New Jersey. Tim Moore trying to get on track, still can't. Just 4 points for Tim Moore. Averages 17 per game. Mannon all the way underneath, has it stripped by Gowdy.
It's amazing how the complexion of this game has changed.
Offensive foul. Gowdy a little bit out of control. His first.
Guards must make good decisions with the basketball. That was not a good decision. There was no place to go for Gowdy.
22nd timeout called here by Alvin Brooks for the Cougars. Today's game brought to you in part by the Texas Lottery. Tonight's Lotto jackpot drawing is for an estimated $16 million.
Think you could live happily ever after on that $16 million?
Down payment on Happy Life. Sure.
Really?
I'd like to see what it's like.
Yeah, there's that greed again.
Absolutely.
You could figure it out. But you might not figure that out as well as Houston's figured out what to do against Baylor here to try and get themselves back in the ball game. Alvin Brooks went matchup zone, went full court pressure. Tried to change the tempo a little bit, and it's worked for him. Now they got a long way to go. They're still 10 points down against a Baylor team that played very well early in this game.
And after a great shooting start, you see the Bears down below 50% now. A couple of threes by Willie Bird really ignited the Cougar comeback. At 15 before Baylor really gets into the play. They get Smith on the baseline, and he drives and scores. 4 for Rodney Smith, 12-point lead.
Anytime you can get inside that zone, whether it be by making a pass or with dribble penetration, you're going to create problems. That time it was dribble penetration, and that will cause a problem for a zone defense.
That is an NBA three-pointer for Damon Jones.
Well beyond the 22-foot NBA.
That's an old NBA.
23-9 was the old one.
Doug Brandt, more of the board. Houston down 9 and traveling. A problem for them this entire first half. This one on Lonzel Gowdy.
If you can penetrate the gaps with dribble penetration, if you can get inside, you see Baylor do it right there. They do a good job of getting inside, drawing the defense. That was Rodney Smith.
Anthony Knox's return. Baumgartner back on the bench.
Baylor spent considerable time last night in their workout. We had an opportunity to watch practice, concentrating on trying to get inside the gaps.
Kind of an ugly shot that time by Skinner. Underneath the rim. 3:50 in the half. Moore off the ball, fakes, scoops it home.
Very active Tim Moore. He needs to have more touches for Houston at their end of the floor, not unlike what I stated earlier for Skinner. That doesn't mean the good players shoot the ball, but give them the touches, draw the defense, and then they can fan it out to open shooters.
A lot of touches for Brandt in this first half for the Bears. Up comes Capers in transition. Off the jump stop. Skinner rebound.
See, this pace is helping Houston.
Yeah, early on it helped Baylor. But it's more a Houston personality now, as you see. This is a hell ball, and it will go back over to Houston possession. After a timeout, 3:15 to go in the half. The lead is down to 7, 34-27 there.
My daughter used to think fish just came from the supermarket.
You know, my son used to wait for rainbows, but now we go looking for them.
I know they learn all about the world in school, but now we can show it to them.
Isn't it amazing how opening one door can open up so many others? Ford Explorer, because the world's too big to be left unexplored.
What I like about Whataburger is you have to wait on them.
There's one thing you'll never find at Whataburger.
You have to wait a little bit of time, but it's not that long.
Your burger ready and waiting for you.
And I'd rather wait a minute to get a fresh burger.
You could probably find a faster burger.
If you go somewhere else, you don't know when it was made.
But then you'd have to eat it.
Pretty boring stuff.
They don't compare to Whataburger. They're just not as good.
Whataburger's made fresh right there.
Hot, fresh, and custom made to your order every time.
I think that's a good idea.
Only at Whataburger.
What you waiting for?
Matson Financial Services is now offering CDs from banks at 6%. Call for more information. Matson Financial Services, 772-6383.
Baylor up by as many as 18 points early in the first half. Cougars have turned it their way ever since and trailed just 34-27 with 3:15 to play.
I give Houston a lot of credit. Baylor had it really going their way, playing with a lot of confidence, playing free and loose. But the defensive change for Houston, going to the matchup zone and the full court pressure, has helped turn it around. Not only defensively, but it helped their offense. They seem to run better out of the matchup zone. The two front people on the matchup zone have a tendency to release more.
Capers with a quick release over Clyde. 4 for Kenya Capers. This is as close as Houston's had it since the very opening minutes of this first half. 34-29. Grant with a no call lays it in. That time Knox flopping right under the basket. It was tough to get that call that directly underneath the hoop. Missing the jam. Moore fouled as he goes up with Grant, who commits his first.
I think that's a good play. If you're capable of dunking the basketball, take it to the iron and hang on to the ball as long as you can and draw the contact. Don't release the ball early, because then the good shot blockers, guys like Skinner, they're able to get an attempt at a block shot. But you drive it to the iron like Moore did. It's a good offensive play. You hate to miss the dunk, but he doesn't miss many of those.
Tim Moore, as a junior last year, led the conference in blocks, but far outstripped, as is everybody in this league in that department, by Skinner. But even so, one of only 5 Cougars in the long history of one of the proudest basketball programs in the country to average for his career better than 19 points and better than 10 rebounds.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really impressive when you stop and think about the number of players.
Kelvin Hayes is in that category, not many others.
And he wasn't bad.
Probably could still play for somebody. 2:18 and a half.
There, that's how you fan the ball out. That's exactly what you do. Put it inside. When the zone collapses on that inside player, he fans it to the open shooters. You just keep your poise. You got plenty of time, and you pick that zone apart.
And Mannon with his second three. Another NBA three by Jones. This one won't go. There's Bill to lead back to 9. Roderick Miller out from the corner. The dangerous pass, bounce across the court, gets it back. Skinner at the high post all alone.
Nicely done again. That time it was penetration that resulted in a nice look for Baylor.
Willie Berg close to goaltending, but they got it before it hit the glass and thrown away by Skinner. Jones got the steal, knocks inside, gets Skinner up off his feet. And no choice at that point but to make the contact. And it's the first foul on Skinner. He is as active as he is without fouling.
He's a good basketball player and a young one. He'll do nothing but get better. At the other end of the floor, Baylor gets it down low. You don't force bad shots, don't take bad shots, but when you get it that deep, you can fan the ball out to your shooters. It was nicely done by Baylor that time.
Bears will get Brant right back in. .119 in the half. Anthony Knox, a 61% free throw shooter, transferred from Mineral Area Community College out of Bellwood, Illinois. Second to Skinner in shot blocking this year. Skinner's save goes all the way to the backcourt to Jones. Bird for a three. And a foul on Tim Moore. They say he's over the back of Skinner, and that is the third on Moore. That's the call of the game so far. In terms of its impact on Alvin Brooks, certainly. 8th team foul against Houston. Stay with us for the second half of today's game. We'll have the Pizza Hut delivery of the game. So Moore out with 3 fouls, 7 points, 4 rebounds. And for the first time, Skinner, a 63% free thrower on the line.
Last year's Southwest Conference Co-Freshman of the Year, along with Juan Bragg from TCU. You talk about a fine young guard. Juan Bragg is it. I hope he gets healthy. Gets back to where he was a year ago. He had an outstanding freshman season. Enjoyed watching him play.
Missed way too much time this year. Skinner gets the 2 he couldn't get from the foul line, and it's 41-30, 50 seconds. 16-point half. Better than his per-game average for Brian Skinner. Bird, well, he hit those first couple of threes and looking for that same success. Flop, but no call on Jones.
That's a good no call there by the official that time.
Madden wild off the ball fake. Bird ahead to Jones. 28 seconds. Capers, jump stop, and a big scoop.
That time it was Skinner trying to draw the charge. Once again, giving you an idea of how active he is. He has a very lively body, something you always look for in the recruiting process.
So with the shot clock off, Bears can look for the last gasp here in the first half. Down to 4. Smith capers the board. That'll do it for the first half. Well, the Bears have their way early with the Houston Cougars, leading 26-8 before the Cougars really get started. 16-point half by Skinner. Cougars trail by 9 at intermission here in Waco, 41-32. Southwest Conference basketball is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. By Right Guard Gel. And by Mobil Oil.
What do you think our chances are? You think we're going to get it?
It's unusually heavy traffic heading into town.
Good morning. You ready for this?
We are waiting on the announcement on who...
It was the first city in the South to even try.
30 or 40,000.
I want to thank everybody for the hard work they've done.
The first American city of its size to win them in nearly 100 years.
Okay, here we go.
In anticipation to find out just...
We're going to make the announcement now. The International Olympic Committee has awarded the 1996 Olympic Games
The first city anywhere in the world to win them on its very first attempt.
to the city of Atlanta.
As the first partner for the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, Nations Bank is proud to have played a part in this historic event. Let the games be great.
Don't mess with Texas.
When a traffic jam was 2 cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
After graduation, I want to be governor of Texas.
Governor of Texas. Governor of Texas. Governor of Texas. Governor of Texas. Governor of Texas. Governor of Colorado. Well, 5 out of 6 isn't bad. At the schools of the Southwest Conference, higher education turns dreams into reality.
Space, a new frontier in scientific research. The University of Houston is a leader in space education and research, located minutes from NASA's Johnson Space Center. As a space grant college and a center for the commercial development of space, the university works with NASA and industry on everything from the next generation of semiconductors to the space stations of tomorrow. The University of Houston, exploring the future of space.
Let's check the rest of the weekend schedule here in the Southwest Conference. 2 o'clock this afternoon at Moody Coliseum in Dallas, TCU visiting SMU. And tomorrow at noon at the Lubbock Municipal Coliseum, 4-1 Texas visiting 5-0, 22nd ranked Texas Tech. We'll have more halftime activities when we return to the Farrell Center in Waco in a moment.
So, looking for a couch, huh? You look like a man who needs comfort. Nice, huh? Massages. Now, I have this exact model in my home. The 286. Built-in TV remote, average holder, the works. You'll never want to get up again.
Play Couch Potato, the newest scratch game from the lottery.
Now put him in the toe hold. Don't give him a noogie.
He's down. No, not the claw. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. How long must I dream?
Sweet dreams from Doubletree.
No, there isn't a fountain of youth. But we do know that proper nutrition is one of the keys to staying healthy and active. The good news is, now there's Boost. It's a whole new kind of milkshake with 25 important vitamins and minerals, including antioxidants and beta-carotene. And sometimes we're just too busy to eat right, but you can help keep your body at its best with Boost.
Lunch! Mr. Quinn, any advice for hungry young actors?
You know, true greatness comes from within. I mean, you can't see it, but you can smell it and taste it. You gotta have it inside, deep down, hidden.
You're so passionate about acting.
Who's talking about acting? I'm talking about pizza.
The new triple-decker pizza from Pizza Hut. Hidden inside two thin crusts is a 6-cheese blend for a huge cheese taste.
Acting's easy for me, too. Really? Well, then act like you're getting us more pizza.
The personal touch is the thing that makes Baylor distinctive.
What they take away, the student, is not you're sitting in a library researching. What the students remember is the interaction they have in the classroom.
I can guide them, I can advise them. That makes all the difference in the world.
Here at Baylor, I know all my students by name, and it's an understood that we are involved with our students and that we do all we can to help our students to do the best they can.
Time for the Chrysler Plymouth Championship Challenge. During halftime of each Southwest Conference game, viewers will be given a chance to vote on the team they believe will win the regular season conference race. The only way to cast your vote is by calling right now, 1-800-514-HOOPS. The winner will receive a trip for two to the 1996 DirecTV Grade 8 tournament. Voting ends February 10th. The winner will be selected from all correct entries based on a random drawing, and you must be 18 to enter. Winners will be announced during the final weekend of games in the Southwest Conference. So let's take a look at the current conference standings. Texas Tech, the only unbeaten at 5-0, followed at 4-1 by Texas and Houston. Rice at 2-3, followed by TCU, Baylor, A&M, and SMU. We'll return to Waco after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
$20,000 for a new car? Ouch. Hey, if your car runs good, looks bad, paint it. That's right, paint it and save at Maaco. Why? The Maaco Supreme Plus sale is on. Supreme Plus at half price. Now only $225. Get our prep package with a full coat of primer sealer, our famous Supreme paint service. Come on in now and get our integrated UV sunscreen for extra protection. All half price. For a limited time only, $225. Painting your car with Maaco Supreme Plus at half price? That's America's smart choice.
Check out today's best music, the new sound of 97.5 FM.
I can love you like that. I would make you my world. Move heaven and
This is today's best music, the new sound of 97.5 FM.
Sponsorships are available for the 1996 Cattle Barons Ball. Call 753-0806.
When they hit Skinner in the middle. Second one. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final score.
I got it. I got it.
Youngblood in the blue, nothing.
At the Farrell Center in Waco, a 9-point lead for the Baylor Bears over Houston here at halftime, 41-32. Again, Dave Barnett with Bob Ortigal at the Farrell Center. Baylor off to a 26-8 lead. Houston readjusted and got at least back into the game at points, but with 3 fouls, Tim Moore has not really been a factor, and they haven't had much of an answer for Brian Skinner at any point in the game.
No, they really have not. Skinner's been a very good player, doing a lot of things. He scores, he rebounds, he gets up and down the floor extremely well. He's the key against defensive pressure. They try to get him the ball. I think Houston will have to really find a solution to Skinner if they're going to win the ball game.
16 points already, 13 rebounds for Skinner. That ties his season high for an entire game and is one off his career high at 14 last year against Texas, and can run the floor too.
Yeah, he's extremely talented. We talk a lot about this guy, but we're going to show you some of the reason why we do talk a lot about him. Here he is, helping his ball club break full court defensive pressure. They find him in the middle, and when they do, they lead him properly. He catches the ball well, is able to put it on the floor, and of course finishes with a big dunk. At 6'10", good hands, runs the floor well. That's a big plus for Baylor and certainly for Skinner. Now Jones for Houston has great range. Look how far he is beyond the 19-foot 9-inch college line. That would have been an NBA three-pointer. He gets the ball up well. Most of his shots are three-pointers. Operating against Houston's zone, Skinner down low, doesn't force the shot. A triple team down low. He fans the ball out to the open shooter, Mannon, on the left side of the floor, who converts the three-pointer. That's really great poise inside when you operate against a zone and you can put the ball into a guy who's 6'10". As long as he's strong, if he doesn't have the shot, he can pick out those open shooters, get it to the man who has the uncontested shot.
So those highlights brought to you by Mobile. Now, as we said at the outset, this is not a new position for Houston to be in. They've won 4 games in the conference. 3 of them they were down by double figures at one point, 18 points at one point in this game. So they know they can do it.
Yeah, if you're a Houston fan right now, you look at one another and you say, we got them right where we want them. That's exactly the way they play, and they play very well doing just that.
41-32, our halftime score. Baylor on top of the Cougars. We'll have more from the Farrell Center in Waco in a moment.
For the vehicles in the Chrysler brand, we set some very stringent criteria. It's called benchmarking, and we set hundreds of benchmarks. Recently, we set 10 new engineering benchmarks to surpass. We scrutinized the look, the feel, even the sound quality. And that, of course, was just for a turn signal.
There are a lot of chicken sandwiches out there.
Mystery meat.
Kind of rubbery.
Not sure if it was all chicken.
But there's one that's very different.
The lean, mean grilled chicken sandwich.
It's the Whataburger of chicken sandwiches.
The grilled chicken sandwich is great.
It's a better cut of meat.
100% breast meat marinated and grilled to golden perfection and prepared any way you want it.
Juicy and plump.
The lean and mean grilled chicken sandwich. Great taste, less waste. Only at Whataburger.
And I'm really pretty hungry.
What you waiting for?
Tylenol I use, for aches, pains, fever, that kind of thing. But headaches are another story. For headaches, I use Excedrin, because Excedrin relieves headaches better than Tylenol. They did clinical research to prove it, but you know what? That's for doctors. So I did my own kind of research, tried it on my headache. That proved it.
Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. How long must I dream?
Sweet dreams from Doubletree.
Southwest Conference basketball is brought to you by Chrysler and by Pizza Hut. Baylor on top of the Houston Cougars as we look at our Whataburger halftime stats. And one in particular really surprising. Houston coming into this game by far the better rebounding team. Who looked right at the bottom line to start things off. 27-17 Baylor on the glass with 13 of those from Skinner.
Anytime you get a guy that's going to get 13 rebounds, that's what's going to happen. You're going to dominate the boards, and that has really hurt Houston. 9 of those rebounds have been defensive rebounds for Skinner, which is why the Houston ball club has only 2 offensive rebounds.
12-2 offensive board edge for the Bears. And he's also the offensive story as well. 8 of 13 from the field, 16 points in 19 minutes of the first half. Only 1 block, though. He came in at 3.6 blocks per game. And the Cougars have evaded his attempts to swat him away for the most part. 7 by Moore on a subpar pace for him, but he is their top scorer, and he's also their top rebounder with 5 of their 17. The left elbow took a blow very early, and I don't know if psychologically or physically it hampered him worse, but he definitely never seemed comfortable at any point in that first half.
I think Skinner had more to do with it than his left elbow, but Moore is a good player and should respond. You know, we were talking about Skinner's ability to block shots and the fact that he has only 1. Sometimes it's not a bad idea when you play against a guy who's a great shot blocker to force the ball down to his man and let that guy make good ball fakes. Now, I didn't say pump fakes, good ball fakes where it looks like you're really going to go for the shot, show the ball. That shot blocker, you might get him in foul trouble. You don't have to shoot it down there. You can still put the ball back out and run your offense, but attack shot blockers sometimes, see if you can't create problems.
Well, and one other thing that really jumps out for the first half of the Cougars, they had 14 field goals and only 3 assists leading to those 14. So a lot of one-on-one play for them.
And a lot of that came at the end of transition opportunities.
Baylor ball to start the second half.
And Houston starting back man-to-man defensively. This got him in trouble to start the ball game. And that's a shot that Skinner should have made there.
Yeah, they survive a wide-open layup attempt by Skinner. 3-pointer from the corner, not there by Damon Jones. Snapped down by Moore, knocked away, back to Jones.
Excellent offensive rebound by Moore. He went to the glass and got it.
Lonzel Gowdy scoreless so far. There's the career-high equaling 14th rebound by Brian Skinner. Less than a minute gone in the second half. Wild miss by Brent. Gowdy out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Great football and basketball star there. And Kirk Ford, who averages 15 with only 4 points in this game, brings Houston back within 7.
Excellent recognition that time by Knox up high, noticing that when his teammate was fronted down low, he threw over the defense.
Perkins with a rare 3-point try. Moore in transition. Perkins out to defend it, made him change the arc, but he gets inside, and the follow for Moore cuts it to 5. As close as the Cougars have been since the first couple of minutes of this game. And a 20-second timeout called by the Bears.
Houston operating right here. You see, Brandt was going to front the low post player that time, Kirk Ford, so Knox recognized it and went over the top. Look at the activeness and the liveliness of Tim Moore. He took the shot, followed his shot, got the ball back on the offensive glass. That was the second impressive offensive rebound that Moore has had here to start the second half. Harry Miller, head coach of Baylor, noticed it immediately and took the timeout.
This is as close as the Cougars have been since 12-8, first 5 minutes. And Miller, not liking the trend one bit, gets his 20 with 18:29 to go.
And it would appear, Houston back in the man-to-man defense right now, but a little bit more active and certainly a little bit more confident.
That was not touched by Gowdy, so it's an over and back turnover by Mannon. Turnover number 7 by the Bears.
I think Mannon thought that Gowdy had deflected the ball into the backcourt.
He obviously reacted as if he thought he had a free trip to the backcourt to regain it. Let's see. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like Mannon just went to pick it up and went into the backcourt. I didn't see the defense touching it there.
Bears have cut the turnovers way down. They had 29 at Texas Wednesday. 28 of those in the first 28 minutes of the game, and yet they weren't blown out. 3-pointer. Jones is second. It's a 2-point game.
You know, I get the impression that Jones has learned something. When Houston lost at Tech, Jones shot the 3-pointer very well early in the game, and he was really quite demonstrative about it. That sometimes serves as a lot of motivation for your opponent. He's not doing that here tonight. He didn't do it on that shot here this afternoon.
Kirk Ford fouls Brian Skinner. Second on Ford.
Alvin Brooks in his 3rd year as the head coach at Houston, former assistant to Pat Foster at Houston.
You know, he talked about Skinner's shoe size. What was it, 18 when the year began? It's now 20. He was 6'1" when he first played for Harry Miller, high school sophomore at Temple. 6'4" as a junior, 6'7" as a senior, 6'9" when he entered Baylor. He's now 6'10". He could finish 7 feet easily, couldn't he?
And the doctors say he's still growing. That's why the shoe size has gone from 18 to 20. Oh,
that
Skinner
rebound through his hands. And Moore draws the foul as he tries to get the follow-up on Perkins, who has 3.
Skinner, one of the players in today's collegiate game who wears the socks all the way. He must be a fan of Elliot Perry, who plays for the Phoenix Suns, because that's the way Elliot Perry wears his socks. Look at Skinner. He doesn't wear them down around the ankles and shoes where a lot of the guys are wearing them now, nor does Roderick Miller. Miller wears them up.
Could be just a Temple thing.
Well, maybe it is.
Well, I think even Elliot Perry traces the sock style lineage all the way back to George Gervin. I think that's their way of
that's not a bad one either.
Honoring the ice.
Yeah, that's right.
Cougars score 8 of the first 10 points in the second half, 43-40.
I want to check Harry Miller and see if he's got those socks all the way up to his knees down.
Well, I hope they're not white.
You know what? That guy just hustles. He's just an outstanding hustler, Brandt is. He'll take some shots sometimes, and they just don't look very good, but he's not intimidated by that. He continues to hustle. And Baylor goes to the zone defense. Interesting.
Jones falling in love with the threes. He has 3 of them and 11 points, and it's a 1-point Baylor lead. 2-point Baylor lead. Excuse me, as they correct the scoreboard, 45-43.
That's a good job there.
Grant again there on the offensive glass. Making a pretty good living today on that weak side.
Look at Helvin Brooks. I'll tell you what.
Oh, Skinner. The block of the day. Maybe of the year.
Outstanding block. Now the next thing you want that young guy to learn as you look at Skinner blocking the shot is to block it, keep it in play, and trigger a transition opportunity. The good shot blockers keep the ball in play. Try to tip it to one of your teammates and you're headed the other way.
You know what it looked like? It looked like he tried to block that one directly into the bell of the tuba over there in the corner. It was just too inviting a target to pass up. 3 by Manin. His third, and it's 49-43. The Bears respond to the Houston run. Tim Moore, as the pace picks up on both ends, has 12.
Moore's looked like a different player here in the second half as compared to his performance in the first half.
Well, usually as he goes, so go the Cougars. He's had some great second halves this year. Manin and Moore with the steal, and then Tim Moore is going to be called for the offensive foul here. Roderick Miller draws the charge. That is 4 on Moore.
That's a huge factor. Watch Brandt's effort here on a board. We talked about how much he hustles. He comes away with a defensive board, gets the outlet pass to Manin, who pulls up at the end of the break and drains the 3.
But the Cougars with some serious foul trouble with Tim Moore, now 4 for the game.
When a traffic jam was 2 cars in the same town, Mobil Oil was there. When Lindbergh crossed the Atlantic, Mobil was on board. Mobil was in the world's first minivans, in the first space shuttle, and in the tanks of Desert Storm. We've been helping engines last for a long time. Mobil, changing oil for over 125 years.
Most family sedans will put a driver to sleep. The Chrysler Concorde was designed to be a wake-up call for an entire industry. It's the original cab-forward design that gives Concorde a distinctive look, sports car-like road manners, and all the room you need. Cab Forward has been so successful, other car companies are starting to copy it. To the rest of the automotive industry, this is your wake-up call.
Before you pay another bill, stop. Town West Ford in McGregor will pay off your credit card up to $3,000 when you buy any new or used car or truck in stock. Don't let December's holiday debt stop you from owning a new car. Choose from 200 new and used cars and trucks. Buy any one this week, and we'll pay off your bills up to $3,000. Don't miss the great credit card payoff. It's only in McGregor and only at Town West Ford.
Houston, with the great comeback, continues on their way to narrowing the gap. But here's a huge play. Tim Moore comes out, gets called for a charge right there. The problem, that's his 4th. Moore has to sit down, and Houston has struggled without Moore in the lineup.
And it looked like he was just starting to get his rhythm. Doug Brandt. Boy, again, shows that ability to scramble after every loose ball, and he goes up with Anthony Knox. And another Houston foul. On Knox, it's his 3rd. Well, the Cougars down by 18 2 weeks ago. Came back, defeated the Rice Owls. Down by 12 against TCU. Came back to win by 3. Most recently in overtime, they defeat the Aggies by 11 after trailing by 14. But a little bit different when they've got to do it having Tim Moore on the bench for a large chunk of the second half. Capers in to replace Knox as they get smaller.
They get smaller, but they get quicker, probably more aggressive defensively, and certainly more aggressive with their offensive pressure, pushing the ball toward their basket, I would think.
Marcel Gowdy. Galen Robinson, who has to take over the low post scoring role with Moore out. Through the hands of Brandt, one of the few he has not come up with underneath here.
But he's always around the ball. Brandt is always there. He's a guy that he really kind of bugs you a little bit if you're playing against him, because he's pushing and bumping you and hustling all the time. You have a lot of respect for a player like that. He gets everything out of his abilities that he could possibly get. Whoa, 5-second violation. See, they have to use a timeout.
Coaches have got to love the addition of the 20-second timeout.
For that reason right there, the only thing is, it's a big misconception on the part of players. A possession early in the game, losing that basketball on a possession is better than giving up the timeout late in the game. From a coaching standpoint, the timeout late is much more valuable than the possession early. And in that particular case, you just have got to execute your out-of-bounds play and get it in.
We'll see the Cougars against the Texas Longhorns next week from the Irwin Center at Austin, noon Central Time. Check your local listings, and we hope you can join us for the Cougars and the Horns. They come into this weekend tied for second in the conference race. Really a three-team race at this point. They both chase 5-0 Texas Tech. Deep in the corner, Jones missing the three. Brandt loses that one again to Ford. He set it over to Kenya Capers' side. And Mannon cutting in front. Out of bounds off Ford. Baylor does get the takeaway.
Baylor back in a man-to-man defense that time. Did put a little bit of pressure on Jones, and you better do that with his ability to shoot the three.
Brad, who has the perfect major for a basketball program. Basketball players should all major in aviation sciences, shouldn't they? In some ways, they all do, whether they know it or not.
You read the media guide, did you? I'm impressed. Huh? That is in there. I asked Tommy Newsom, the SID for basketball from Baylor, said, tell me about aviation sciences. And he says he wants to fly planes. That makes sense to me.
Well, and you graduate, you get your bachelor's degree and your pilot's license.
That's not all bad.
Two birds with one stone, so to speak.
Get your college degree and fly to the Bahamas.
That one off his foot, and it's a steal by Gowdy, a drive and a foul. Mannon called for riding Gowdy along with a little bit of a hip check. His first foul and just the team's second.
Houston had problems now in the last possession out of bounds underneath their basket, having to take their 22nd timeout for the second half. Let's see if they execute a little bit better with this possession. There they get it in bounds.
Gowdy travels. Cougar turnover when it looked like they were going to get a pretty good shot out of that possession.
Alvin Brooks told me before the ball game that they get in situations where they're coming back or they have a little bit of a lead, and crucial turnovers have really hurt this Houston club. Once again, we'll see exactly what he was talking about.
Traveling, Mannon gives it right back. Strange thing about that 29 turnover total the Bears had in Austin Wednesday, most of them did not occur against the press. They occurred after they had beaten the press, and then they'd get it and work their half-court offense and then give it away, but they cut it way down, as you can see this afternoon.
But credit the press for that, and that's part of Texas' philosophical approach and the way that Tom Penders thinks. Let me tell you what happens. You work so hard against their press, when you have broken it, you get into the front court, you go, oh, good deal. Then you end up turning it over, trying to run your offense.
Kurt Ford with the layup gets the Cougs back within 5. 52-47, under 14 minutes to go, second half. Hopper rolls right to Miller. Roderick Miller, just a sophomore, but maybe the key play of this game to draw the charge by Tim Moore and get him on the bench with his fourth foul.
They got numbers, Dave.
And the scoop by Kenya Capers.
When you get numbers in transition, an advantage, you take it to the basket.
Timeout Bears. 13:25 to go in the second half. They lead by 3 here in Waco.
What I like about Whataburger is you have to wait on them.
There's one thing you'll never find at Whataburger.
You have to wait a little bit of time, but it's not that long.
Your burger ready and waiting for you.
And I'd rather wait a minute to get a fresh burger.
You could probably find a faster burger.
If you go somewhere else, you don't know when it was made.
But then you'd have to eat it.
Pretty boring stuff.
They don't compare to Whataburger. They're just not as good.
Whataburger's made fresh right there.
Hot, fresh, and custom made to your order every time.
I think that's a good idea.
Only at Whataburger.
What you waiting for?
We wanted the LHS to be the kind of car that, even when you're not driving it, you're thinking about driving it. It really was designed to spoil you in every way. An aggressive 214 horsepower engine in front of you, luxury amenities all around. Once you drive an LHS, it's not something you'll soon forget.
Raycom, the one company that delivers sizzling coverage of both football and basketball, plus a whole lot more, including exciting home video titles. Raycom, we deliver.
Only $2.99.
Houston operating against Baylor's zone. Capers with a basketball. If you can get inside the zone, you create problems. They have to guard the ball. So you get it into the free throw line area. They are then vulnerable. Houston goes up over the top. Ford, the recipient from Robinson, the passer, and gets the easy two-pointer.
Rob, you talked at the outset today about Houston being the best shooting team in the league. Baylor, the best shooting defense team in the league. Houston 48%, right about what they average. They get the Caper steal. They work it up to Bird. Nice job by Bird to look for the trailer, and Kurt Ford cuts it to one.
What a careless mistake by Baylor in their front court with a basketball, and an outstanding play by Houston in transition.
Baylor hit about everything to start, and they've fallen stone cold since. Under 40% now for the day. The Cougars with the rebound by Ford have a chance to take the lead. Robinson to Capers, and they've got it.
Dave, I don't want to sound redundant, but Skinner's not getting any touches. You haven't been mentioning him. Skinner's not. He has to touch the ball. You want it in his hands. There you go. That's why.
That's why you want him in the middle. You look for him. He's probably going to have a hand up, and he's tall enough against this lineup for Houston. They should be able to get him the ball.
Dance with the lady you took to the dance. And the one you want to dance with here is Skinner, if you're Baylor.
20 points on the afternoon, and Capers starting to fill it up off the Houston bench. He has 12 and will go for the three-point play.
Baylor very wisely against the full court pressure finds Brian Skinner, 6'10" sophomore, down low. Once again, the catch and the finish. Houston operating inside. Ooh, you get away with one there?
Might have.
Maybe a travel.
This is 5 straight double-figure games off the bench for Capers. Houston, since they made Gowdy the starter in the backcourt, 7-1.
Houston with that full court matching up as best they can. See, they've got Baylor hesitant right now.
Skinner to Grant. Ball blocked by Robinson, down to Bird. Willie Bird bringing it up to Gowdy. Underneath, turned away. Capers, but the Bears' Miller unable to chase it down inbound. Interesting what that lineup change has done, because Gowdy doesn't do it with numbers. They're not his own numbers. It's just a better chemistry they have with Capers, a great scorer off the bench, and Gowdy opening at the guard spot. Kenyatta Clyde in to replace Skinner. They take him out, down 2. Maybe for just a brief conversation with Harry Miller.
Very brief, I think.
Tuscaloosa, one of the top schoolboy football players in Alabama. So you wonder how he got away from that state without playing college football. He rushed for 1,500 yards, passed for 2,000 as the Alabama Class 6A Player of the Year. But he was also the state MVP in basketball and decided that would be his future. By way of Bevel Junior College, he has arrived at the U of A. We've arrived at the 11-minute mark. Cougars leading by 2, having trailed by 18 points in the first half. Three-pointer, big shot to get the lead back for the Bears by Rodney Smith. Wasting no time, Ford rejected out of bounds.
It's a nice offensive attack by Houston after the score. A big basket for Baylor. Smith got the three-pointer to go, and Houston didn't hesitate at all. They had the ball inbounds quickly.
Miller goes for the steal. Raymond Jones inside, finds the angle for Ford. You're going to give Clyde a foul on the push. Kenyatta Clyde's second, fourth against the Bears. Player of the year in Nevada last year. State all-time scoring leader. Almost 2,200 points in Las Vegas. Robinson got shoved, and they'll call traveling. Looked like Clyde gave him a little hand in the back, but traveling is the call on Robinson.
But that under official in that particular position, this case the lead official, couldn't make that call because he can't see that hand in the back. He kind of gets screened off.
Cross-court pass by Smith, and Perkins will try the three-pointer, and he drops it in. First points of the day by John Perkins.
Oh, they've had some big back-to-back threes, and they've done it with Skinner on the bench, Dave. That makes those baskets even bigger. This guy can shoot it.
Right back with another three, and that's 4 on the afternoon, and 38 for the year for Jones, who set the Cougar freshman record last year. He had 55 trades.
He averaged 10.3 points a ball game as a freshman a year ago with 24 starts. He's going to be a very fine player before he's through at Houston.
Grant turns, finds his 18-footer from straight on. 17-point day for Brant, 62-59. We may be headed toward a great finish.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. Good alert defensive play. It's Grant once again. They give a hustle award in the Southwest Conference this year. It'll be difficult for Grant not to be one of the finalists.
Misses on the turn this time. The Bears own the offensive glass. Rodney Smith. 9 points.
This is happening with Brian Skinner on the bench. Baylor Bears doing a nice job.
Yeah, Miller making no move to get Skinner back in. He's giving him a good long rest while he can. Ford goes up, blocked by Clyde. Huge rejection by 6'8" Kenyatta Clyde.
I think part of Harry Miller's thinking might be, I'm going to keep Skinner on the bench as long as Moore's on the bench. Houston operating down low. Block shot.
8:51 to go. You bring up a pretty good question. With 4 fouls, how long do you keep Tim Moore out of the game?
I think it depends on the point spread, and that's what you have to determine. If you feel the ebb and flow really getting away from you, you can't afford not to have him in the ball game. Tim Moore seated on the bench with 4 fouls. If you can stay close and run some time off the clock with Moore there, you wait.
Well, as Perkins picks up his 4th, answer to that question, Brian Skinner re-enters with 8:48 to go, and it's Clyde he replaces. They keep Perkins out there despite his foul trouble.
And they're playing a little bit matchup zone right now. Baylor is. Ooh, they got to get to him. Good hustle. Good recovery defensively.
Cougars whipping it around much snappier on the perimeter. Much crisper passes leading to good open shots. In fact, their choice of open shots on this possession. Paper is unable to put it away. They had at least 4 or 5 different selections to choose from that time. Come away scoreless, trailing by 5.
You want to find Skinner, I would think.
Well, instead, Roderick Miller with a long two-pointer.
He's a fine shooter. Good defensive play by Brant. Very alert to the pass.
This will, I believe, be Miller's third foul, and it will be. They get Miller for a hold. And it's 16 fouls now against the Bears. And the timeout with 7:59 to go in Waco. Bears by 7.
It may seem like a funny analogy, but building the Chrysler Cirrus was a lot like making a movie. We produced it, released it to a critical audience, and waited for the reviews. Car and Driver called Cirrus the new benchmark for compact sedans. Automobile Magazine raved about its brilliant styling and excellent handling. Motor Trend said it's the most significant vehicle in the market. Cirrus has received great reviews and a lot of awards, but that's no surprise considering its performance.
Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. How long must I dream?
Sweet dreams from Doubletree.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
66-59, Baylor Bear advantage. Trying to pull the upset over the 9-7 Houston Cougars with just under 8 minutes to go in Waco.
Interesting, Dave. Houston down 18 points early in this ball game. Took a 2-point lead here in the second half. At that point, Baylor has gone on a 12-3 run and now leads by 7.
And none of the 12 points have come from Skinner. Jones just off of another 3. Skinner another board. His career best rebounding day gets even better.
Look at Brant run the wing.
Paper is there waiting in Miller's favorite spot, that right corner. Pass to the cutter on the back door. It's Smith.
Great example of working in behind the zone. That's exactly what Smith did. He worked behind the zone. The zone didn't see him. Then you go over the top to that player. It's very simplistic if you approach it that way.
I think Grant thought the pass initially was for him and then instinctively pulled back. Seemed to sense that there was somebody behind him, and a good thing that he did.
When you work behind the zone and bust up into the open areas, if they know you're there and they cover you, you come into the open areas, you have room to operate. But they're turning to look for you all the time. You can go all the way back to the baseline and operate against the zone. It's always effective. It always has been.
Cougars in the 1-1, and Anthony Knox gets the front end here, 68-60.
There are no secrets in the game of basketball. There are 3 ways to beat a zone. Number 1, you beat it back. Number 2, you beat it with meaningful and purposeful movement. Number 3, you beat it on the offensive board.
1 of 2. Perkins still in with 4 fouls, pulled down the rebound. Big possession here with Baylor looking at a chance to go back up by double figures. Cougars had it at 56-54. And the Bears have gathered some new energy since then on this run. Foul here on Damon Jones, his second, 4th against the Cougars.
Jones, his second.
Well, you're now down to a little over 7 minutes to go, and you're down by 8. And you got to be thinking real hard about Moore back in the game, don't you?
I personally would come with him at this point. You've got an opportunity to get him into the game right now. That means a 9-point lead for Baylor there. I don't think you can wait much longer.
Grant makes it. Baylor by 10. Now their comebacks from double-digit deficits did not involve this little time to come back. Most of those games they fell way down early, as they did today, and then took over from that point. Turning it over here on the offensive foul. That is 4 on Knox. Anthony Knox joins Tim Moore with 4 fouls.
Houston extends the defense. They need to force some turnovers and see if they can get in transition.
Ryan Skinner turns with a left hand. Twice he's tried that left-handed hook, and both times aired it out short. Not his best move yet, anyway. 3-pointer, and in the nick of time, boy, Lonzel Gowdy finally gets his first points.
And Alvin Brooks has Tim Moore up off the bench.
Skinner tries to get his position camped out in the middle of the lane, and Kirk Ford hacks him for his third, and we will see Moore back in with 6:26 to go in a 7-point Houston deficit.
What Moore has to do right now, he needs to play hard. He cannot afford to be hesitant. Frequently in situations like this, a player comes back and he is hesitant, but he does need to be smart. Good basketball court sense. Don't do anything silly out there to get your 5th, but still play hard. See, he didn't reach right there. Didn't reach, didn't commit the foul. It's good. That was a heads-up play by Moore.
Perkins and Ford both pointing in different directions, and it turns out Ford was right. It was off John Perkins.
Looked like traffic cop school out there, didn't it?
Lonzel Gowdy out of the corner. Pulls it back up to Gowdy. Damon Jones, Miller wary of his threes. He's rained him down in the second half. Moore's pass deflected, but to Jones, and the shot clock winds its way down under 5. Gowdy still gets a good look and drops in another 3.
Now it's interesting again.
Baskets of the game for the Cougars. Back-to-back 3-pointers, just the 9th and 10th this year by Gowdy, and it's a 4-point game.
With his team down 10, they're now down 4.
Through the hands of Miller. If you're Baylor, you also worry, I would think, about getting too conservative at this point, looking at the clock and being more wary of, are you winding enough time off the clock, as opposed to staying aggressive and looking for the best shots possible.
I would prefer to stay aggressive and not worry about the shot clock. Be aggressive, just take good shots.
Ford, they cut it to 2. Kirk Ford making it 70-68. So the Cougars respond. Moore back on the floor, and they have 8 unanswered points. 5-minute mark in the second half.
Skinner's got to touch it, Dave. He's got to find him.
Got him, and they got him fouled as Damon Jones goes up with him, and on Jones, it is his 3rd. It's the 7th Houston team foul, so both teams in a 1-and-1 bonus.
Good job by Baylor that time, seeing to it that Skinner was able to get the ball in his hands. Houston has recovered nicely, very impressively. Of course, they're not intimidated by that 10-point deficit.
Well, I think they really pushed that comeback business almost to the limit, as late as they let themselves fall down by 10. But then the Gowdy 3, another Gowdy 3. Ford hits the jumper. Big free throws by Skinner, 22 points. 72-68.
I'm impressed with Houston's patience right now. Moving the ball, trying to get the good shot.
They've shot their best, and they have fought their best, offensively at least, here down the stretch, as they fall down by 10 and come back from that deficit. That is a travel and a costly turnover. Could have cut it to 2. Baylor ball, 4.5 minutes.
Nice move by Moore that time, going down the lane, but it didn't count. The travel had preceded his call.
Both teams with 2 full timeouts. They have used their 22nd timeout. Doug Brandt. second half points and 21 of the afternoon for Grant, the junior from Hastings, Nebraska. Gowdy just off on the three. Moore back up over Skinner and got it.
Believe he did it with his left hand. Excellent offensive rebound. Moore showing you some of that talent. I think he went back up with his left hand.
He did. He shakes off whatever discomfort he still has from the early blow, which briefly cost him some time, and more recently foul trouble has cost him time. Still has 14 points for the day. Smith back out to Perkins, and the shot clock winds its way toward 10. Grant on the leaner. Ford and Smith go up for the rebound, and it's over the back contact called on Rodney Smith for the Bears, his second foul.
Number 22, Rodney Smith, is second.
Grant's had an outstanding second half. He really hustles and scraps. Look at him work the baseline, comes across, beats his man, catches the ball, and gets the 2 pointers. A good move by Grant. Defensive man turned his head. When he does that, you can break to the ball.
21 points, his 6th game this year at least 20. When Skinner doesn't lead him in scoring, Grant tends to, one way or the other, they get good production from those big 6'10" inside guys.
And one of our keys to the game was the Twin Towers, the 2 6'10" Baylor players. Can Houston do something to counter their inside play? Houston is doing just that. With this free throw, they're only 2 down.
Well, this is who they want on the line here down the stretch. Third best free thrower in the league at 82%. Ford hits them both.
We have an official timeout.
3:32 to go. 74-72 Bears.
Raycom, the one company that delivers sizzling coverage of both football and basketball, plus a whole lot more, including exciting home video titles. Raycom, we deliver.
The new Chrysler Sebring was built upon something called the Goldilocks principle.
It occurred to us that while most luxury cars were too big, most sport coupes were too small. We wanted the Sebring to be, well, just right.
It not only has a sporty 24-valve engine and a race-inspired suspension, but it also gives you the luxury of an actual back seat.
Which means there's enough room for Goldilocks and 3 or 4 of her friends.
Tylenol was always around, so I always used it. I mean, you know, for all the things that you use Tylenol for. But my mother said she's always giving out medical advice. She said to relieve headaches, you should take Excedrin. It's better than Tylenol. She was right. Major bonding experience with Mom. I mean, plus, I got something that's better for headaches. I mean, what more could you want out of life?
Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Okay, board. Who thinks Dion should play wide receiver?
Bates back. He's got Dion wide open. Winning catch!
I hope Coach Schwitzer's checking this out.
Football according to Dion. Primetime NFL. Sports.
Here's today's Pizza Hut delivery of the game. You'll love this stuff.
Roderick Miller with the ball, looks over the top of that defense and finds Smith, his teammate, down low. An outstanding pass. A good look, good movement offensively. You can't stand around if you want to get good looks. You've got to move and make timely passes.
That is today's Pizza Hut delivery of the game. With Bob Ortigal, Dave Barnett, our producer Lee Friday, and director Rembert Young from Farrell Center in Waco. From the line, you have Miller at a very solid 78%, and it goes immediately south from there. Baylor, second from the bottom in the league at 62%. As a team, stolen by Ford and blocked by Skinner, but it's off to Jones. Air ball off of whom and out of bounds. It will remain Houston ball, but Skinner goes up, gets another big block.
And the second miss was a change. He changed that. Watch this. Good steal by Houston. Blocked by Skinner. Now watch this shot attempt. They come inside again with another shot attempt. The presence of Skinner in there caused him to put up an air ball.
Cougars can go up on the 3, and Gowdy is just short. Battle for the board. To the deck. Ford taking it away from Miller. Cougars cannot get it over Skinner and Brandt inside. They do get a foul this time, though. That'll be 9 team fouls on the Bears. 3 on Brandt.
And give both teams credit. They're battling on the boards that time. Both of them. Brandt was inside. Skinner was inside. Moore was in there. Knox was in there. Ford was in there. Had a lot of people really making an effort. But Moore will go to the line to shoot free throws. The dandy collegiate ball game. Talking about good college basketball, it ought to be pretty interesting in Lubbock tomorrow. Texas at Texas Tech.
Really should. That is a chance for Texas to tie the Red Raiders for first in the league. Average score last 4 games out Lubbock between those two, 105-102. Tech. They won 3 of those 4.
Yeah, that'll be a great game. A lot of good, talented players. This one here, I don't know how you get much better than this. It's 74-74 with 3 minutes to play.
Well, a couple of times it looked like Baylor's going to run off and hide. Most recently, when they led 70-60, 14-4 Houston run. The time we're under 3 minutes to go in regulation. Brandt dropping it underneath to Skinner, and before the shot, a foul on Anthony Knox is gone. That is 5 on Anthony Knox.
Very good job. Watch the high-low. Baylor comes up high with Brandt. Then they go over the top of the defense, down low to Skinner. Good recognition, good execution. You get to the free throw line. Remember that one of the keys to the game that we talked about for Baylor was free throw percentage. They've been impressive here in the second half.
They've been perfect.
Now that's impressive.
Not just impressive.
8 for 8.
8 for 8. 4 by Skinner, 4 by Brandt.
Unfortunately, there's 2:51 on the clock, so your ability to make free throws just can never underestimate that.
Well, it'll be Galen Robinson in for Anthony Knox. They have gone about 4 minutes and change with Tim Moore avoiding his 5th foul. Ryan Skinner keeps the Bears perfect from the line in the second half. In fact, for the whole day, they've only missed 4 free throws. So a major hole in their game, at least for this afternoon, has been filled in. And as a result, they may pull a big upset here. One of the bigger early season Southwest Conference surprises so far this year, if they can finish the job. Kirk Ford briefly open on the baseline, takes it into traffic and dumps it off for Moore.
How about the pass? An outstanding pass down low to Moore.
18 now for Moore. 11 in the second half. Miller missing the 3. Jones the board. Cougars go for the lead. We get near the 2-minute mark. Ford wide open, and he's long.
Oh, he did have a good look that time.
They may not get any more open shots than that here down the stretch.
But you want to take it. I mean, you want to rise and take that shot.
Had it in the hands of a good shooter. Brandt lay in another easy 2 for Brandt. 23 points for his afternoon.
See, the plus there for Baylor was Moore is on Brandt, and Moore doesn't want to take a chance on fouling him. Alvin Brooks going to take a timeout. He wants to talk about this possession. Obviously, it's very important.
1:42 to go.
There are a lot of chicken sandwiches out there.
Mystery meat.
Kind of rubbery.
Not sure if it was all chicken.
But there's one that's very different.
The lean mean grilled chicken sandwich.
It's the Whataburger of chicken sandwiches.
The grilled chicken sandwich is great.
It's a better cut of meat. 100% breast meat marinated and grilled to golden perfection and prepared any way you want it.
Juicy and plump.
The lean and mean grilled chicken sandwich. Great taste, less waste. Only at Whataburger. And I'm really pretty hungry. What you waiting for?
Sooner or later, you're going to run into someone who will convince you that speeding is a bad idea.
Southwest Conference basketball is brought to you by Nations Bank, by Chrysler, and by Whataburger. .142 to go. Baylor by 2. Very sound strategy here. Go at the man with 4 fouls. Moore.
Yeah, Tim Moore down low with those 4 fouls. Is very hesitant to get too aggressive defensively. Baylor and gets the ball down to Brandt, who had a deep low post and scored.
Cougars just used their next to last timeout. Baylor with 2. Houston will get a held ball. Eamon Jones.
Zone defense by the Baylor Bears.
Skinner fronting Moore.
Matchup.
Jones short, and what a follow slam. Mercy.
That's one of the finest offensive rebounds and dunks I've seen. He worked baseline. My, oh my, did he explode. What a play by Moore.
Brought it from the hip. I mean, that was the ultimate windmill job by Tim Moore.
I went 6 inches out of my seat.
Smith gets the lead back for Baylor. So we go to a minute remaining in Waco. 80-78 Bears. They've searched all afternoon for a way to put this thing away. Cougars have twice come from double-digit deficits. 19 on the shot clock for Gowdy. To tie it, he's good.
Oh, he really got a good look. Dribble penetration, got inside the zone. Nobody picked him up.
They're on their feet in the Farrell Center. 27 shot clock, 33 game clock. Miller right down to Skinner. Blocked. Skinner turned away. Gowdy ahead to Ford with 22 seconds. Shot clock is turned off. And the Cougars should have nothing worse than overtime.
There they go. They're trying to match up man-to-man now.
Gowdy down to 5 seconds. Takes it in. And the foul called on Gowdy. Offensive foul with 2.2 seconds left. The Bears will get the final shot.
Let me call your attention to the fact that it's Brandt that makes the play. We've been talking about Brandt's performance in the second half, how he's been hustling. Watch him. Brandt, number 5, moves over, assumes the position, draws the charge, gets the ball back for his club.
Timeout, 2.2 seconds to go. 80-80. We're back for the windup in a moment.
No, there isn't a fountain of youth. But we do know that proper nutrition is one of the keys to staying healthy and active. The good news is, now there's Boost. It's a whole new kind of milkshake with 25 important vitamins and minerals, including antioxidants and beta-carotene. Sometimes we're just too busy to eat right, but you can help keep your body at its best with Boost.
So, looking for a couch, huh? You look like a man who needs comfort. Nice, huh? Massages. Now, I have this exact model in my home. The 286. Built-in TV remote, average holder. The works. You'll never want to get up again.
Play Couch Potato, the newest scratch game from the lottery.
Now put him in the toe hold. Don't give him a noogie.
He's down. No, not the claw.
There have been a lot of outstanding defensive plays throughout this ball game. Watch Houston right here. Interior feed down low to Skinner. Robinson comes over and blocks Skinner's shot. Outstanding. Look at this one. Watch Tim Moore. Watch him slide baseline. That ball's way out from the rim. He grabs it and dunks it. Tremendous play by Moore.
Houston's share of second place in the conference in A lot of jeopardy here with 2.2 seconds to go, 80-80.
This is where I'd like to see college basketball. Take a look at the pro rule of being able to advance the ball to the 10-second line. I think it makes it more interesting.
Rodney Smith in. Mannon from midcourt comes up short. We're not done yet. We have overtime in Waco. Bears 80 and the Cougars 80 when we come back for the extra 5 minutes in a moment.
There is a road that exists, I think, in the mind of every Chrysler engineer. A bending, twisting, wonderful road that serves as a reminder of why we build cars. We've got very sophisticated independent suspensions, multi-valve engines, and cab forward dramatically improved stability. They're just wonderful machines to drive. Thanks in part to that road in all of us.
In communities throughout our nation, athletes are working to turn their many years of dedication into a few precious moments of triumph. Which is why Nations Bank, as the first centennial partner of the 1996 Summer Olympic Games, is joining with the U.S. Olympic team to give our hometown hopefuls a chance to be there as the torch comes to Atlanta. And an opportunity for their efforts to light up the world.
Well, it's going to be a very familiar feeling for Alvin Brooks. Their last game went to overtime. They had to come from way back against the Aggies, down 14 at the half. They won it by 11 in overtime, 78-67 midweek. Down 9 at the half in this game, and the Bears seemed to have it pretty well put away when they took a 70-60 lead, but Houston had a tremendous run still in them. They both had chances at the end. Offensive foul caused the turnover by Houston. Not much of a shot from midcourt by Mannon at the buzzer. And to overtime we go in the Farrell Center. First overtime this year for the Bears, but 2 in a row for the Cougars.
Both teams will have 2 timeouts now. Neither team will have a 20-second timeout. If you don't use your 20 in the second half, it carries over into overtime. In this case, both coaches have used their 20, so it's 2 full timeouts for each team.
And it's Kirk Ford, goaltended by Skinner. 14 for Kirk Ford.
Getting down low, it's Ford. Gets the ball up. You see the goaltender. A very obvious call and an easy one there. That is not a heads-up play by Skinner.
I think if he leaves that one alone, if it goes off the front iron, I don't think that was going to go on its own.
It looked like, from our angle anyway, that it was going to come up short.
Smith covered up pretty well by Ford. Mannon tries the 3. Not there. Rebounded by Galen Robinson, who had the big block to deny Brian Skinner at the end of regulation. Tim Moore gets Grant up off his feet. No reverse. Rebound. Grant reaching in to tie him up is Ford. But the possession arrow is for Baylor.
The next one will go to Houston. And the alternating process. Harry Miller talking to Brian Skinner as Skinner goes down the floor and sets up on the post.
One of his best days ever, just his sophomore year, 24 points. Grant, 23. That's one of his better days as well. One of only 2 juniors on this roster for the Bears. So if they go to the Big 12 next year, they'll have a roster that will have to mature in a hurry. They'll be the only seniors. Missed by Skinner, pulled down by Moore.
Moore was all over the defensive glass that time with that quickness and that jumping ability.
Tim Moore with his 8th double-double in the last 9 games this afternoon.
I'll tell you, Moore can get up, but he can really rise. You'd think he had yeast in his body or something out there.
Boy, all you have to do is see that follow jam. We looked at a couple of different angles. You see what he's capable of. Almost limitless to the deck. Ford losing it to Rodney Smith. Big takeaway by the Bears. 2 minutes gone in overtime.
Great hustle by Mannon going on the floor after the loose ball.
Not a good foul here on Damon Jones. He reaches, commits his 4th. They've already lost Knox, Moore, and Jones now with 4 each.
Watch the effort by Mannon. Look at him come in there. That really kept the ball loose and free for Smith to pick up.
Roderick Miller, the man the Bears won on the line down the stretch. 70